Okay, so here is section 8.2, number 15. 8.2, number 15. All right, so the first thing is to write the claim. What are they claiming? Test the claim that most people believe in the Loch Ness Monster. Most. What is most? More than half. That's what most. Most is more than 0.5. More than half, right? If most, that's more than half. All right, the HO, the H1. Remember, the HO is always equal. The H1, he must match the claim exactly because one of the two always has to match the claim exactly. So this one must be the claim. And then we always write weak evidence by HO and strong evidence by H1. All right, now we go to our calculator. 1 prop Z test, which is number 5 on the stats and then tests, and it'll ask us for, let me put it over here, it asks us for P0, X, and N. So the P0, it always comes right there from the H0. That's why it has a little sub-zero. It's reminding us to look at the H0. The X is the number, and the N is the total. Now the total is 20,556. 20,556. That's the total number of responses. Now what's X? X is the number that said yes, they believe, because that comes from the claim, right? That comes from the claim. The claim is most believe, right? Claim is most people believe. So the claim is how many believe. Yes, how many say yes, they believe in the Loch Ness Monster? Well, how do we know? It said 65% said yes, they believe. So I got to find that number. To find X, I've got to take 0.65 times 20,556. So that's kind of tricky. And I'm getting, on my calculator, 13,361.4. So we just will round that to 13,361. So do you see it? So that's the number that will go over here. 13,361. So you see how we figured that out? That's kind of tricky. We don't always have to do that. That's the number who believe. Number who believe that the Loch Ness Monster is real. They told me it was 65% of the 20,000, right? And of means times, doesn't it? So that is 65% of that group, which comes out to be 13,361. All right, so put this stuff into the 1 prop Z. Also, you got to put in greater. It'll ask you, greater than or less than. Put in greater. So put that in the 1 prop Z, and we get, I'll do it right now also. And I'm getting a test statistic. My Z here comes out to be 43.00, and my p-value comes out to be 0. Actually, this should be 43.01. It rounds to 01. The p-value is 0. All right. Now let's go to a new screen and figure out what the conclusion is. So again, this was 0 for the p-value. The p is 0. Remember how we do our conclusion. I'll bring it up here. So the p is 0, and then the significance level, I forget, what was the significance level? right there, 0.05 significance level, 0.05. So we got to decide which of those is bigger. 0 is smaller than anything. So is our P low or not? Yes, our P is low because it's less. Our P is less. It's low. It's less than the significance level. So it's a low P. Remember what that means. If the P is low, the HO must go away. So our P is low, the null must go away. That means we reject the null. So go back here, and I'm going to cross out the null, and I'm going to take the other one, the H1. Cross out the HO, take the H1. So that's what we believe. So we keep H1, and what does H1 say? P is greater than 0.5, and strong evidence. All right, and so let's see here. So reject the null. So it's either going to be this one or this one, not B, not C. Which one of those is right? There is not sufficient evidence. No, there is strong evidence. So that one's out. It's C there. There is sufficient evidence. And how about the last part? How is the conclusion affected by the fact that internet users saw the question? Who saw the question could decide whether to respond. Yeah, this is the thing we did way back in the first week or two of the course, where we talked about when you put a question on the internet, you're only getting voluntary responses. You're only getting the response of the interested people, the freaks, so to speak. The people, at least they're freaks on this issue, they're highly interested in this issue. So you're not getting the normal person's opinion. Whenever you put something, voluntary response, whenever you put something on the internet and you ask people's opinion or call into a talk show, you're not getting like the average person's opinion. The average person is too busy. They don't care that much about the issue to bother to call in or click in. You're just getting the highly interested opinion. So, since the sample is voluntary response, the conclusion might not be valid. Yeah, for sure. So, there we go.